Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you all doing? You're welcome to day 73 of 90 of our daily dose of Aurum Foundation. I will tell you a lot about the company and all the updates and to look into the recap of last night's call. This is me, Lawyer Taj, reaching you all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. I just want to thank all of you for coming on the call. I can see different individuals who haven't even been here before showing up. Thank you guys for coming. This meeting is to give us clarity of thought and make us understand or try to stay as much as possible positive to hear what this company has to offer. And so just want to jump into the recap. I took some notes after reading all that the company, all that Andrew Isaac had to say, and then the sudden appearance of our co-founder, Mr. Ahmed Zen. That showed a lot of heart. That's at least made some of us feel very comfortable that things are really ongoing. Yeah, so I just don't want to waste time because I have a lot of things to talk about, and mostly just a few hours ago, the company just sent a memo to say that whatever they're gonna have with tag market has been put on hold. So we're gonna discuss that too and the implications of that and all that the company is doing. But before we get started, I just want to say a few words. Remember that today is just day 25. Day 25 of all that has been happening. I know some of us have been so used to earning on a daily basis, withdrawing every day. And these 25 days have been so long. Even in my eyes, it has been so long. Like it's like an eternity already. But remember, it's just day 25. And for a company of this magnitude, and from the last meeting we had with Dr. Demi, how we broke down such an audit and how long it will take, we're looking at some 6 to 8 weeks if we want to be true to ourselves, rather than rush the company to jump into any form of solution or jump on any straws that they can claw onto, just with what we're seeing right now. So I'm going to make this open. I'm going to throw this open. But firstly, before I do that, I'm going to run through all that was said during that meeting and the first few points because it seemed kind of like a repeat. And then there was some new information updated on there and some new things um, that we wish would have been talked about. We're going to talk about it here too, and going to discuss how um, the Alpha Tom has been running with with his team in order to set the record straight with the company and sending information. We're gonna be looking all through that, and I just want to jump straight right now into just the short words of what Andrew Isaacs talked about. So allow me to share my screen on this. Okay. Okay, so let me just read directly from the company Telegram group in regards to the updates that just came in, and then we're gonna discuss it briefly. The call is being recorded, so we'll share the link afterwards for anyone who wish to read through it. It's good to see Mr. Chris in the house, Mr. Chris from the USA, and all of you wonderful people. Jacoboom, Sobrimabo Oboms. Your position, they watch the scenario. Yes, that's good to see you, my brother. Right, so let me just go straight to Telegram. The last time we had this meeting, I'm sure we talked about this update. I think it came out just some few minutes before we had that meeting. So we didn't really talk much about it, but this is where Andrew Isaac started from. It started from the talks about the centralized exchange accounts. So I know some of us know, or maybe all of us know, that the XAI bot basically was traded on centralized exchanges by Aurum, having their monies in these centralized exchanges trading with the bot. And so the centralized exchange, the update we got was that these accounts, which were temporarily frozen as part of the ongoing situation, are now currently completing the required procedures to restore access to these accounts. And so without being told, that simply means that once Aurum gets access to these accounts, trading basically is going to begin with the XAI bot. The second was the DX, Decentralized Exchange audit nearing completion. The audit of Aurum's decentralized products is now nearing completion. Technical and security reviews are in their final stages, and we are preparing for the gradual relaunch of these products in the near future. And then the third was the full audit report, which is coming soon. We said a comprehensive audit report is currently being finalized and will be published once the review process is completed. Our priority remains to complete every stage thoroughly and ensure a secure and stable recovery of the Aurum ecosystem. We will continue to keep the community informed as the audit progresses and further stages of the recovery process are completed. And so that's how we had Mr. Andrew Isaacs begin the call, talking about the updates that I just read out now, and also the relaunch of the products. So he said, and I quote that he said, the timeline remains unchanged. That means the August, September, and October timeline remains unchanged. That means the company is geared towards completing everything as is said within the next 3 months. And that access to capital is almost ready because the timeline of the audit is also almost done. With all that being said, what was interesting was the strategic partnership of capital infusion. So the partnership comes with a capital infusion with Tag Markets. And for me, when I saw that information, I didn't know what to first make of it, you know. And he also said that there are also, please be rest assured that they will make every effort to restore every single dollar that was lost. And he made a direct statement where he confirmed that it's not that some of the hacked funds or maybe he said these funds will be recovered. The huge chunk of the funds will be recovered as already moves already started being made to get access to these funds from the other centralized exchanges where they were hacked and put into. And I remember this was one of the things that Dr. Demi spoke about during the last call, that Aurum must always reach out to all the other exchanges that they have been trading with in order to make sure that they have access to these funds. So that's what we are seeing right now. And what else? We'll recover funds a huge chunk. Yes, and then all of a sudden we had Ahmed Zen come on the call. And for me, I was very happy about that because I, for one, was not one of those people who think that he was doing something wrong by not showing up. For me, I wasn't doing anything wrong because basically it's not even doing anything marketing in the first instance. I mean, Zen basically comes up when we have events, tells us what's happening with the events, and when a new product is launched and all that. So when all this was happening the past 24 days, People were sending messages to him. He was replying to some and he was not replying to some. I know some Nigerian leaders that send messages to him, but he only gave short replies that all will be well and they're working tooth and nail to make sure everything goes well. He said there are a lot of solutions on the table. This was one of the sentences that he made during the call, that Aurum is trying his best to make sure that everything comes back, that there's an intention to solve this, and that his marketing company is on hold. So he will be representing the community and making sure they push Aurum to answer the right questions or get on with it as soon as possible. What was um, what was really interesting to me was how he expressed his big trust on Brian Benson. He spoke. I don't know about anybody else. Of course, we'll have the table open for people to speak. But from what I could decipher from what he was saying, he looked like someone who was virtually begging Brian Benson to stay. Like he was basically telling Brian Benson to keep on working with the company, and this is not the time to hold grudges, and this is not the time for him to give his personal opinion about this. But what's important is the announcements that we get from the company and all that the company is planning to do. That was day 24. Today is day 25 of all that has happened since, that has changed the trajectory of Aurum Foundation. But then again, I am very hopeful because I see the fact that everyone is working towards making this work. And irrespective of the fact that we had the like of Shane Moran saying stepping down because the company is not giving him answers, I do not think that is the most important thing right now. All we want to hear is the company has come back to full operations, have started trading again, audit is completed, and payments and withdrawals will begin. I know I speak the mind of a lot of people when we say we want withdrawals to begin. But remember that the audit must be fully completed. And from the words of Andrew Isaacs, it seemed just like maybe a couple of days. It seems like a couple of days away, or maybe a week or two for these to be completed. I also want to take also our mind back to the audit analysis by Dr. Demi, 6 to 8 weeks. I always tell anybody who cares to listen that I believe that 6 weeks, I would like to hold on to 6 weeks of all that's been happening for audit to be completed, to know how far it has gone, and we begin trading again. The company already has given us some processes or the profit margin that will come with some of the products from Aurum. For example, for those of us who have been using the Nero, we'll be getting 15 to 3% in a month. And then the Orbit one is going to be running on a 15 to 20% in a month. If the last announcement that came from the company didn't come, I would have been a lot more confused with a whole lot of stuff. Because I, for one, I've heard about tag markets, and I mean, there's been a couple of licensing issues and regulatory concerns about the company itself. And so, I want to read also from the company's updates directly from the Telegram group so that you and I can have a second opinion about what was just sent to us. Aurum update regarding tag markets. We would like to provide an important update regarding the previously announced cooperation with tag markets. Following the initial agreement, both teams began preparations for the technical integration. Dedicated communication channels were established and discussions around the infrastructure, the proposed 5 million trading account, and the integration process were actively underway. During these discussions, Tag Market strongly proposed the transfer of Aurum's full partner structure in bold letters. Tag Market strongly proposed the transfer of Aurum's full partner structure as part of the cooperation. Aurum did not agree to this approach. From our side, any potential migration of users and partner relationships must be handled exclusively through a controlled API integration without transferring the complete Aurum structural tree. I'd like to take that part again so we could let it sink in. During these discussions, Tag Market strongly proposed the transfer of Aurum's full partner structure as part of the corporation. Aurum did not agree to this approach because from our side, any potential migration of users and partner relationships must be handled exclusively through a controlled API integration. Thank God we have Mr. Chris here. He's going to tell us a little bit about API integration and his own professional point of view. Okay. From our side, any potential migration of users and partner relationships must be handled exclusively through a controlled API integration without transferring the complete Aurum structural tree. At the same time, we have received significant feedback from the community regarding tag markets, including concerns related to direct recruitment approaches towards members of the Aurum partner network. So you see that the company tag already has started going behind trying to recruit top members or top leaders of Aurum Foundation. And it's, well, right. So protecting our community and partner structure remains a priority for Aurum. And this feedback is extremely important to us. Considering these facts, Aurum has decided to place the cooperation and technical integration with tag markets on hold while the situation is reviewed. Our focus remains on finding the right infrastructure and partners that can support Aurum's recovery and future development while respecting and protecting the integrity of our global community. We will provide further updates through the official Aurum channels as the next steps are confirmed. That's the latest from the company barely an hour ago. And so, as we normally do on the call, if you support the opinion of Aurum shutting down this cooperation with tag markets, just give me A. If you don't support it at all, that Aurum decided not to give out the entire structural tree of the community to tag markets, give me the B. And if you're undecided, just give me C. So let me put it again. A means that you support that Aurum is pulling out. B means that you don't support that Aurum is pulling out. And C means that you just don't understand. You're just on the fence. You don't know what's really going on. I'll just do a short preview on that, and then we'll take questions, listen to opinions of individuals here. OJ Wilt, I can see your hands are up. So let me read through the charts. Please remember that in this chart, we'll try to be as positive as possible. What we're trying to do is decipher or try to understand where the company is coming from. So we will be looking at everything, each and every one by one. So yes, Dr. Demi is not around today. So you see, that was explained in the last call. Please watch the replay. That was explained in the last call by Dr. Demi. So Lisa Bright says A. John says A. Lisa Bright, can we hear from you briefly? I think I made you a co-host so you can okay, sorry, I didn't. So you can unmute yourself, Lisa Bright. If you want to say something about your A. Janet, You want to say something about the A?
Hello,
B?
good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
I hope I'm audible enough because my
Y-
network is very bad.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm in support of Aurum not doing that because so of course it's a partnership, and with partnerships usually, you know, both organizations or parties would have to compromise certain, like would have to, it's a give and take situation. So with when he announced it yesterday, I thought it was a smart move because Orbit One wasn't launched yet. So I'm like, okay, Orbit One is not launched. So if it's going to be launched on the Tag Markets platform, it won't even make any like it would be like a test run for Aurum users because obviously Tag Markets want to come in and take part of Aurum users. That was the conversation I was having yesterday. That okay, with partnership, it would have been safe for Aurum to hand over Orbit One on the to be on the Tag Markets platform because it's a new product, right? We've not even Aurum users are Aurum investors are not using it yet. So it would be smart for them because even what $5 million in it. And whatever that account gives them in profit or whatever will be used for the resolution. That was how I understood it. And so if they were if in exchange Aurum was giving them Orbit One on their own platform, well, good enough, because it will not make any sense for Aurum to give maybe Nero because they already have users on Nero, and I'm sure that they have a lot of users on Nero. And of course, XAI Pro and the rest, they are centralized, and so the funds on these the funds on XAI Pro, RW, and the likes, those are in the Aurum accounts, right? So it will not make any sense for Aurum to partner with any company and say, okay, you know what, let's have our XAI bots on your platform. But it was safe for them to put Orbit One on their platform. And so today, when this update came and okay, they are like, okay, they are now considering, they are going to hold on. I was like, oh, you see, this is what I talked about yesterday because, you know, it's tag markets see and understand that okay, Aurum has a lot of investors, and the truth is they were coming for Aurum investors. I
Hmm.
didn't see that as support per se. I just saw it as these people are coming for Aurum investors, and for me, Aurum was smart enough to give them Orbit One. And so when this update came today, I was like, you see, oh well, Aurum knows what they are doing. So that's why I support the move to pull back because I saw through it yesterday, and yeah, today this happened.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that bright opinion. I can see some hands up. Can I ask OJ Wells? Please unmute yourself and please say it. I see you have your hands up.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all leaders present. Yeah, the truth is, what just happened today, it shows that Aurum knows what they are doing.
Mm.
As at yesterday, the partnership with Tag Market was excellent. You see, one thing about these American companies, the big fish want to swallow the small fish. Of course,
Yes,
Tag Market is bigger than Aurum.
yes.
Tag Market is bigger than Aurum. So they want to cleverly, because of the challenge Aurum is facing, to Aurum is a beautiful bride. Aurum have system that even Tag Markets don't have. Are you getting me? So When I saw the updates of Aurum today, that they refuse to submit their structure to tag market, I say correct. It means Aurum knows what they are doing. If they submit the structure to tag market, we no longer have Aurum Foundation. That's the truth. So Aurum is doing the right thing by refusing no. If they want Orbit 1, Aurum can give them Orbit 1. Orbit 1 is not even functioning yet in Aurum. It's going to be launched very soon. But the EXAI bot and the neural infrastructure of Aurum is sacrosanct to Aurum. And I know many other financial, remember, Brian Benson is a banker. Yeah. There are many options on ground that are coming in. Venture capitalists, yes, they are coming in to pull funds, to bring funds. Let me tell you something. This challenge Aurum is facing is going to blow up Aurum to the next level. Because people, they are going to bring in funds. Aurum has the structure, Aurum have the people, they have the systems, the working systems. So what Aurum did today is absolutely wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your opinion, Joseph Kalu. We have missed you, Mr. Joseph Kalu. How are you doing? Please unmute yourself.
All right.
Let's hear from you.
All right. Good evening, Lawyer Taj. Good evening, everyone. It's good that we are having this conversation again, and I miss everyone too. All right. So, why does organization want to go into partnership? There are three reasons that organization, decide to partner, and that partnership can come by way of outright acquisition, merger, integration of systems. So there are three things. And by the way, I support the pullout, but I was reviewing those three things technically. So the first one is infrastructure. So if you don't have a strong infrastructure, you can look at another organization that has a strong infrastructure, and you can integrate. There's always a give and take, and that's the negotiation that is ongoing. That's how I'm also thinking that announcement was premature. Maybe they would have gotten to an advanced stage before releasing it, but I know that they wanted to excite us with updates, and so they decided to throw it in first, only for them to reverse it today. So I welcome the reversal. So in terms of infrastructure, Aurum has an Orbit 1, maybe Tag Market has seen the infrastructure in Orbit 1. For them to want to put in as much as $5 million, it means Orbit 1 is a good infrastructure. The next reason, which I don't want us to take our eye away from, is regulation to markets. Okay, at the moment we know that Aurum, because of the disruption, Aurum has not concluded the MICA regulatory timeline and all that. So Aurum, even if tag market is not going to happen, Aurum is still going to be looking out for other partners who they can ride on their own regulatory licenses. So license or regulation is another important factor why Aurum, as big as we are, even though we are still upscaling, will look out for a partner. And anybody that blows the piper always dictates the tune. So you look at, okay, you have infrastructure, I have regulatory approval. Without my regulatory license, you cannot operate, but I need your infrastructure. So the give and take is, there's always going to be a negotiation about give and take. That's why you see when two banks come together, one bank will want to retain the name, because that's probably the name that is sellable in the market. Then they can now decide, okay, if we retain your name, maybe I can retain my own, we can keep my own infrastructure, maybe the system. So the bank uses this is different software. So we can say, okay, let's use your own software to deploy. So those give and take, definitely happens. Then the other thing is liquidity. Liquidity is very important. But when I looked at the liquidity that Tag Market wanted to put in $5 million, I was like, this is a joke. At the July call that we had with Brian Benson, I mean, we were bragging of $800 million asset under management. And I was like, what is $5 million going to do from Tag One. So that was not even enticing enough. If Tag Market was bringing in $1 billion, maybe I'm greedy, but since we already had like 800 million, if we were bringing $1 billion, okay, so I can say, okay, that is worthwhile. Because for us, what matters is not the name. What matters is our bottom line. What can keep the company's head above water and going. So for me, that amount was too small, no matter the level of compromise that we've had. Okay, though the audit report is not ready yet, we don't know the level of compromise that we have, but it also gave me a little bit of concern to, like, if we had asset under management or in excess of $800 million, why are we so excited about $5 million? So that alone was not sufficient to even give them our partnership program. So I think Aurum has made the right decision by, doing cost benefit analysis. And say, okay, what does it cost us and what are we going to benefit? So if it costs us our whole ecosystem, the community, what are we going to benefit? Is $5 million sufficient, to leverage on? So all in all, I think if I'm to make the decision, I'll make the decision that they have made today by pulling out. Okay, but let us remember very critically is the regulatory license, which Aurum doesn't have, which I don't know if Tag Market has, because that is good. That's why if you see in the write-up that was recently shared, after dismissing this of Tag Market, the other paragraph was still talking about that we are still searching for partners, okay, for partners to that will assist Aurum in the recovery and post-recovery operation, because we will definitely need that stuff. So why we like the idea that we have pulled out, let us know that it is not a closed matter. We must still look out for, Aurum will still look out for a partner that can cover that gap. We may have a good infrastructure, our liquidity may have been tampered with. It may not be $800 million until we see the audit report, but most importantly, the regulatory framework that we're going to latch along. All right, that's my own opinion for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Kalu, for that. So you agree with the fact that Aurum has pulled out? For me, I agree too, because asking for the entire structure of the company because you are giving us $5 million. Come on now. So what stops you from taking over the company? You just changed the name from Aurum to Tag now. I wasn't very okay with it. So let's listen to JOI. You have your hands up since. Joy or JOI.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good
we
evening,
can hear
everyone.
you. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah. My own stand is basically on C, and why C is because
Your
I've just
stand is
looked at
basically on what? Sorry.
C. That is, I'm not either for what happened in support of what's happened or against what happened. So it's not too clear in the sense that
Okay, you are undecided, you
in
mean?
the sense that it's a bit confusing what took place. A bit confusing in the sense that we have had, when they talked about that tag market yesterday, I was like, a broker? This is entirely different from what Aurum works on. Aurum does not need any broker. Broker means you're going to work on their platform. You're going to operate on their platform. That's what brokers do. You're going to deposit money on their platform. So, and at that point, I begin to ask myself questions. So, what happened with the Web3 we're talking about? We talked about Web3 is going to bring about transparency and all that. So moving to a broker is totally against the Web3, plan we had before. So that was why I was a bit skeptical about that movement. So thankfully, they come today to say no, that can no more go further. I knew it was not going to happen. If it's going to happen, it means that Aurum is going to relinquish a lot of stuff about who they stand, what they stand for, and what we've been doing before now, which cannot operate under in any broker environment. That's the way I viewed it. So, so currently, I feel that the company will need to have a way of, making clarity of what they want. For me, I felt that going to that tag, the information they gave us about the tag was too impromptu. I felt they needed to, what they did was just to see if they can give us some good news. And that good news, more or less, like, didn't work out. So I believe that they should just take their time and bring out something that is tangible and something that will make some reasonable difference in what we're looking for. But as far as that tag market is concerned, it was a wrong move. If you know what brokers do, you understand that it is not something that you should be consider about. So for me, I felt it was because of the 5 million that they wanted to go for it. Otherwise, there's no reason going to a broker. It was totally a wrong move from my own perspective. We have some of us that have done trading, understand what brokers do. Brokers are, in fact, when you trade on brokers platform, you are trading against the broker more or less. You're not even trading the main market. So the broker is your counterparty. It trades against you. That's how brokers operate. So when they brought about that, plan of going to tie up, get a bit one inside the tag market environment, I knew it's going to be, it won't work. So thankfully, they've been able to roll that back, and let's hope they'll be able to take the right path, of this revival. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Chris. Mr. Chris, can you speak to us? Are you okay to speak now? Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, everyone. Good
Yeah,
to
how
be
you
here.
doing, sir?
I'm good, good. Um, so I've been reviewing the updates. First of all, I'll just touch around a couple of things, some of which some of the previous speakers have touched on. If I were to grade the call from the previous call, very much impressed with the recent update with the company, regardless of the outcome. First of all, I'll start with the body language of our COO. Everybody that knows him by now knows that he functions more or less like a robot. He's more of a tech person. So he sees problems, sees solution, presents it, and work on it. He tries to remove emotion, and I think that's why the community has always liked Brian Benson and Amezen, because they bring a touch and share Moran. They bring a touch of everything when they speak to us. So, but from the body language yesterday and the previous calls we've had, I was more hopeful in the direction that the company is taking in seeking solution to the problem. The problem that happened to Aurum is not unique to Aurum. I shared the other day with somebody the hot map of the level of hacks that is going on all over the world. Anybody that knows recently, there's a company called CodeCard that had issues with their own. So it's not peculiar to Aurum. But what happens is how a company handles that issue is what is the problem and the level of damage. So from yesterday's body language, I could tell that for one, this man was able to smile in presenting the updates to us, which is a big shift from where he was from day one, because day one was more like there's a problem. We are yet to figure out what is there. We don't even have possible solutions on the table. We don't know if these timelines are going to work. But yesterday gave some bit of hope that yes, on the back end, the company has a plethora of tools that they can use to come out of this situation. And hence, is a little bit less tense yesterday presenting some of the updates, even though it wasn't much, but the body language speaks to that. Secondly, regarding the audit and timeline, like Mr. Timmy broke down the last time, as much as we want some of this thing to be a quick fix, snap your finger and we are back there, some of those things. I, for one, am somebody who never supports fix a date and time to certain things, because if you don't meet it, it causes more problem than when you give a range. And I think that's what the company is adopting. We will give a timeline, monthly timeline. We will have chunks of things that we hope to achieve. But people need to know also that that timeline is not written in stone. There will be some adjustment, because if you are working with vendors, anybody that work with anything that has to do with a third party, a vendor, no matter how professional they are, you don't have control over those things. They can tell you in 1 week we can deliver this thing, but you are always going to be at their mercy, even with the best of companies all over the world. So I like the fact that they stuck with, by August, let's try to do this. By the next month, let's try to achieve this and the other one. So the other thing I got also from the body language was, one, I've been asking myself how they intend to meet this the events that they have, and I had some vision that why not just move the event or something like that. Though somebody provided more light into why it's not just easy to move a date. And then for me, not moving the date also shows that the company can fit in whatever they are trying to do in bringing back the systems within that
Yes.
same timeline. Otherwise, a reasonable person would just say, for now, we're canceling anything is on hold. Let's try to fix it. But they say we can do this. This is not new in this industry. We have the best of people and minds. We can come out of this. Let's retain the date we have set. In fact, this will be a trying period. We can celebrate our coming out at that particular time. So that is from his body language. So when I had the partnership, it was more like a 50-50 to me. One, from the other part, anybody that knows before now knows that Aurum was scaling very fast, rapidly. It's like moving from 1,000 to 100,000. So the infrastructure part was inadequate from the get-go. That's why you had a lot of problem with support. People's accounts were having issues or being hacked before they take care of it. There's a time gap and everything. So from day one, they need, once you are scaling, you must have the adequate infrastructure to accommodate that large number. I mean, we literally went from 50,000 to over 200,000 to 300,000 customers within a short space of time. So it takes hard work from the back end to be able to manage all that. So Aurum knows from day one, we are going to either have to build a big infrastructure or we'll partner with somebody that has that infrastructure already. So with the tag market, I saw that for one, regardless of the intention of tag market, whether they want to acquire or whatever, like somebody said, it's always the big going to swallow the little guy. That's how the game is played. So it's you, the little guy. You have to know how much faith you have in yourself to be able to know what you are going to give up or not give up. So I saw it positive, one, in the sense that Aurum, for partnership to take place, you must bring some level of value to the table, which means one, the technology, whether it be Orbit One or whatever, you must be able to show that you have a concept or something that works. So for them to be on that table to say, let's consider a partnership means Aurum has something of value. It's not just about on the members. Every business needs member to thrive. That one is very basic, but the soundness of what Aurum has was what was looked upon to say, hey, let's have a discussion of how we can work together. And two, Aurum also, like somebody pointed out, the part of that regulation, I don't think they've completely settled that out. And that is what got us into some of the issues we had in trying to quickly move to Web3, where some of these issues came up to. So Aurum is actively exploring options where they can house some of the products. It's not going to be all the product. They are going to be some of the product that they can house successfully to say, yes, we are in good standing as far as regulation is concerned. So that will give Aurum the time it takes to put his house in order. Aurum is dealing with multiple things at the same time. And also, they are very mindful that you don't want to take too long and you don't want to do it too quick to have more issues. So that's where Aurum is, because the community wants everything to come back immediately. Why they are not considering the risk of just bringing everything back without having the adequate issues being addressed. So Aurum, to my own understanding, is mindful that they cannot take forever and they cannot do it too quickly. They must get it right, because this is a test phase for Aurum. This is a make or break situation for Aurum. Thirdly, is that partnership will be sought continually, whether it is with tag markets or anything, because I think the way Aurum is structured, especially since Mr. Isaac came on board, is more into technology, doing partnership, and all this other stuff. That's why, if anybody can remember, the moment he came in, there was a lot of massive products coming, launching, partnerships, and stuff. And he talks about it in most of his calls. So the tag market is not just an exclusive partnership. There will be more partnerships similar to this, but I think the reason they are doing this is just for a quick off ramp, given the situation we are finding ourselves. Thirdly, is not just about the 5 million. The 5 million, to my understanding, is the first interjection of liquidity. The 5 million is not what is on the table. While we are not privy to the exclusive deal that both parties agreed upon before now, the 5 million is if I'm going to give you money, I'm not just going to give you 1 billion or 100 million. It's huge, especially from a large company. They do it in trenches or in badges. And if you listen to that call, there's a part where even Andrej said 5 million is not a lot, it's like a change or something. He did acknowledge it's a change, but it's a step in the right direction. So let's not be carried that it is 5 million that is the deal. That's not what it is. Just like somebody giving you an advance payment for a service or to show you that they have good faith to work with you. It's a good faith and gesture. So let's not be confused with that. So when we are talking about that liquidity, it's a question of how much, when, and how, and all this stuff. So the one good thing I understood within yesterday and today is the fact that this is one of the company that listens to community. Within 24 hours of the community raising objection of that partnership, Aurum knows that the lifeline of the company is the community. And they said, wait, our people already have 1 million questions and some of them are opposed to this marriage. We cannot marry you if our house is on fire. So please, let's wait first. Let's listen. We are going to do further consultation and hear the experiences of our company. And the partnership might still go on. It's just a pause. They didn't. It's not. It's just a step back to reflect on concerns. And again, that demand from TAG is going to be a make or break situation. So it's not completely paused. It might still go on if both parties agree for a suitable framework. But I got
Yeah,
from the
please talk
things
about
that
that API integration. I think it's something we were doing with Royal Q before. You know what the
yeah,
API
so
integration?
API integration is how do I call it? I give you access to my house without giving you a key. I give you a preview into my house. So Aurum is very smart because, like I've told people, there's no business in this world that have ever come close to the kind of structure that Aurum has. Everybody who has 10, 20 years experience can tell you that it's only Aurum's a partnership structure that has been this unique in the past 10, 15 years. Unless I'm lying, somebody can correct me. So Aurum knows that, and they are the only ones that know how they configured that and made that possible. And that once they move their partnership to tag market the way they are asking for it, they'll be losing that control. If you lose control, then tag market takes off the stage and tells you what to do. It's no longer going to be a partnership. It's a question of in corporate world, there's a type of rough accusation that can go on where you are put in a bind where you can't go front, you can't go back. It's take or leave it. So Aurum don't want to put themselves in that situation. And API binding allows that control to still remain with Aurum because API is a connection. Anytime anybody, either tag markets or Aurum, they are not in sync. All it takes is just for that API to be severed or changed, and that disconnection would happen. But if you give the whole structure the way they are wanting, and they are aware of it, so if they do that, they acquire your user base, and that control is lost. So for me, that is a very smart move. If Aurum can insist, like somebody said, unless they're bringing over $1 billion or something very significant, it makes no sense to relinquish such power to a company coming to help you in a time where you feel vulnerable. That is what I think. in terms of assets, somebody mentioned over 800 million in asset. There's difference between asset and liquidity. Aurum has over 800 million of assets under management. That does not mean that every of those amount is liquid cash. Some of them might be in more physical things that they can use and cushion. So if I say I have a house worth 200 million, it doesn't mean tomorrow if I need 200 million immediately, I can sell that house. It will take me time and effort to dispose that property. But thus, yes, I have that asset. So everything Aurum has is not in pure cash. Once this hack has happened, the audit states how much of our centralized product was touched or not touched. Secondly, is we also have to know that Aurum has till tomorrow agreed to recover and be responsible for every amount that was lost. There's so much money that was lost outside the Aurum environment, which is when people integrated their wallet, people had $100, 200, 40,000, 50,000, 100,000, 1 million, whatever people have had, and for some stupid mistake integrated that wallet with the narrow airdrop or something. Those monies also have to be paid back by Aurum. So that is also different from whatever product that was affected. So once Aurum says, give us this time to trade or find liquidity, it has to calculate the totality of money that is going to be refunding within this space of time. So that is something that most people don't understand. So it's not that Aurum does not have money, but how much do you have to stay afloat? How much will you be making to continue paying your partners, continue to pay your customers, and how much dedicated fund extra are you having to service this debt? Because I will call it debt because they are owning up to whatever that was lost. So the company already will be acquiring a couple of millions as outstanding debt that they are going to be servicing. So liquidity is also going to be needed. Even anybody that trades knows somebody who trades with 1 billion is different from somebody who trades in with 100,000. So no matter the size of it, liquidity of funds will always be sought after from all the partners that Aurum has. So for me, that is not a big question as to if our money was touched. It's a question of how much was touched, what was the external wallet that was compromised, how much value is Aurum going to be paying, and then a blueprint to be paying it. Then the other thing is, even when audit finishes and they are trying to restart the system, their Aurum is not going to do everything exclusively the way that it will be pleasing to us. They are going to do it exclusively the way that the company can survive. It may make sense to some people, it may not make sense. That is how things will be done. As human being, they will never get everything right. And I'm not saying also that there are no questions or gray areas that we would like express answer to, but it's not every question that we're going to get the complete transparency and honesty, because some will provide more confusion, more damage than it even would do for the community. So we just also have to keep that in mind. When this whole thing happened for me, it was one question I asked myself. This is the time we know if this company is actually trading. If they are trading from the start, it's okay for somebody to go through this, but you can always bounce back because it's a game of time and capital. Once you have your capital, you can trade back whatever you have lost. And to a greater extent, I believe Aurum has that technology where it's able to do those trades. And so in a little while, we are going to be seeing the company recovering to a greater extent. So for me, these are like some of the things that I understood from the call. When Ahmed Zen came, it was like most of us had expected. He gave the reasons why he has not spoken to us. It may be understandable to some, but I understand it from both ways. Whether he has spoken to us from day one or now, I understood how those back end work. But there are some hidden messages to what he said concerning Brian Benson,
Mm-hmm.
which anybody who read those hidden messages would know that um, it's as if Brian Benson would step down when all these things is resolved. because he mentioned where he would have wanted to do so concerning his health and everything. And the company said, hey, just help us, get to a very good spot. I'm not saying he may, but even if he does that, it shouldn't be a surprise distance. So he has laid a form of foundation if that was to happen several months once Aurum finds his footing outside this problem. And again, people will come and go. Once a company is viable, it will always survive. Some people now are angry with Aurum. People will leave, people will stay. The question is, are they able to come back? Are they able to provide services that will make sense to the community? Once they're able to do that in a reasonable manner, the company will continue to move forward, regardless of who is happy or who is not happy. And for one, I would like for withdrawals to start with the snap of my fingers. But I don't think that's how things work in this environment. But hopefully, once they get the right solutions, they can be able to make that happen for the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chris, for that one. You actually touched extensively on different parts of it. Some things I took from what you've said is basically the fact that, in fact, the way tag market even does their business leaves so much to be considered. I've had people come to me and told me about this tag and offered me $10,000 account to be part of them. And I'm like, why? So that you bring in your structure. And I'm like, if it's gonna work, then why offer such 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 to different leaders in order to bring in their structure? That's something. And then if you really go into it, you find out they have some regulatory warnings all over, have licensing issue, and the fact that they want to take over the complete structure is totally unacceptable. No matter how small Aurum is today, you give this company the next 5 years, you'll be shocked where they will be. Everything goes well, So for me, it also shows that Aurum is a company that listens, because just from then till now, it goes a long way to show that the company takes into consideration what the community thinks. And I think that was the main reason why they brought it out. They brought it out to have feelers, to see what we would feel, how we would react to such news. And they very well saw the reaction. And with what Tag Market was asking for, I mean, that was like selling your soul to the devil directly. So for me, I'm very happy with what the company has done, basically, you know. Are they iPhone? Normally, we don't take people that you don't have your name on your system. Are they iPhone? You should have put your details differently or easily. I'm just going to allow you speak. So please unmute yourself. Please, next time, write your name fully.
Okay, thank you, Lawyer Taj.
Thank you.
I have a different take on this, and I will try not to repeat what most other speakers have said.
Okay.
I chose C because that was the only option that I have, given the three choices you gave us.
Okay.
When the presentation yesterday was made, I was like, why in the world will you present this to your community? 5 million doesn't solve the problem, at least from the expectation or the assumption of the level of damage. Why will you present that to your community? Are you trying to fold up? But when the announcement today came, I saw it in a different way. I think they are still trying to find a solution that they can present to the community. They don't have a good one. And the only thing that they know, which they already decided against, is this tag market deal. I believe they already decided against it. It was the only thing they can just give to us to keep the hope alive. And I think, unfortunately, it didn't go well with the COO. And I think you can see, at least his body language, he didn't feel comfortable at the end of it. Maybe he was pushed into it, I don't know. And we thank God that Ahmad came to bail him out. So for me, I believe I concluded that Aurum already decided this was not a good deal for them, but they had to keep having a communication line with their community, and that's why it was the only option they had, just to say, oh, we have something, and then came out 24 hours later to say, no, 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 we're not doing this. So the only thing I can take out of it is that there is still hope with Aurum, and let's be optimistic. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ade. I should call you Mr. Ade iPhone. Please tell us your name so that we'll get it right next time.
Okay. Dr. Ade Ekundayo is my name. Thank you.
Dr. Ade Ekundayo. That's good. Nice to hear from you. Makes a lot of sense what you've said. Makes a lot of sense. I will jump into some things that Tom Schmidt has shared with his team, which I think will be beneficial, because some people think that we leave the crux of the matter and we are attending to what is surrounding. No, we don't. We know the crux of the matter. Crux of the matter is our withdrawals. It's the operations of the company trading again, our pending withdrawals. That is the most important thing. And like I think it's Mr. Chris that said it. Of course, that is what we want to hear. But then again, jumping into that would mean jumping the gun, would mean not even knowing the full effect of what has happened before we now go into withdrawals, So that also has been taken into wide consideration. I want to read directly from Tom's group in relation to what he shared with his team members today. Just give me the time. Suppose I'll share it on here so that we can I'll just read it out so that we can at least understand that it's not like the leaders don't know what is going on or they don't want to attack. Because I tell you, the only way Aurum can be destroyed, it's through its community, and it's going to be internal. And that's why what we are facing, what we are fighting right here, it's a bunch of battles of people who have egos. That's what I see. So I'm going to jump into what Tom shared this group on here. There's also a voice note too from Ahmed Zen. Okay, so let me just read it out for those who are not in the group, so we can have an understanding on how he's handling his team. Their team from Tom's group. Once again, we are left with quite a few question marks, both regarding how yesterday's call should be interpreted, and more importantly, what can actually be considered tangible and actionable at this point. Above all, when. As we currently know just as much or as little as everyone, apparently including Hamed, we have prepared an email to Andrew and Hamad based on yesterday's call. In it, we have summarized the key questions that from our perspective still needs to be answered. You'll find the further email below. As always, the principle applies. As soon as we receive any information, as soon as we receive any new information whatsoever, we will share it with you here in the channel immediately without filtering or interpretation. There is one additional piece of information we still owe you, as it is not particularly relevant to the current situation, and sharing videos from Bali of the glamping villas purchased by Aurum somehow feels inappropriate at this time. He's just trying to let us know that they also, I think they had something like they went to Indonesia, Bali to get information on how the event is going to go on. We will simply provide you with relevant facts. The local developer has confirmed to us on place that the full payment from Aurum has been received and has also shown us the respective location and allocation of the villas. That's for the real estate. For the final handover, the buyer To our knowledge, one of the owners must be physically present to personally sign the final lease agreement. HP and Tom would also like to make it absolutely clear that we were never involved in any JV discussions with Tag Markets. Based on the way this was presented during yesterday's call, a different impression may have been created. We therefore ask for clarification, which was subsequently provided in the attached voiced message from Ahmed Zen. Regarding the joint venture in general, several teams from HP's organization has moved over to Tag Market. And you see, that was one thing I was very afraid of, because whether you like it or not, Tag has kind of outsmarted Aurum one way or the other. Because from the time that that call was made and Aurum was talking about Tag, some people who, I don't know what to call them, some people have already started jumping ship to Tag. In fact, it was during the call that we got to know that some people were already doing Tag. There's nothing wrong in diversification, but yet again, we have to be very careful at this point in time. I mean, we have a business that's going through a rough time, and then you have some so-called leaders who are now already jumping ship and trying to get those people who were in their business, in their structure, into Tag or into another business, bad mouthing all what Aurum has done. Aurum has done nothing wrong, in my opinion. We keep saying this and it cannot be overemphasized. We have done many businesses that the business shut down and everything ends. This is 25 days ago. If the company has shut down 25 days ago, some of us would have moved on already. But this is a company that is still hanging on straws and making sure they are working behind the scenes without actually telling us what is going on. Because if you actually know what is going on right now before the audit comes in, it's going to cause a lot of uproar. And that's why I understand in the corporate world, the act of omerta, the act of silence. That's why people sign agreements, non-disclosures, NDAs in such situations, because anything you say could cause a lot of problems. And I say it again, if ever anything happens to Aurum, it will be from the community. And that's why we need to guide our tongue. We need to guide what we see and what we listen to. If you focus all your thought process on what the company is bringing out and not on some secret meetings by some leaders or by some disgruntled element, I'll tell you, you have a more peaceful mind than you trying to gather all information from X, from Instagram, from this, from that, from going up and about. It will do you no good because the company has not said any of that. All what the company has said is what we are focusing on. And that's why we do these meetings, to make sure we recap, taking into consideration any other thing and making sure we get the right information out for everyone. So I'll keep saying it again, let us watch what we listen to. Let us not let our mind play tricks or not, because some of us have watched too much movies. We don't watch too much set, too much movie, too much films. We don't lose money. According to Dr. Demi, some of us have been suffering from trauma, the trauma of Ponzi, that once something begins to happen, our mind begins to tell you, in order to guide you, that this is happening again. It's happening again. And so, guys, we need to really understand how our mind works and the right mindset we need to hold in this situation. So let me continue with what I was reading so that we get the right information. And then we go to the letter that the Tom and his team has written also to Amazon. I wish there could be a way I could play the recording from Ahmed when he replied, because it seems like Tom and HP were not happy with the fact that he was linking their names in relation to a joint venture with Tag. So that's why the writing here says HP and Tom would also like to make it absolutely clear that we were never involved in any JV discussions with Tag Market. Based on the way this was presented during yesterday's call, a different impression may have been created. We therefore ask for clarification, which is subsequently provided in the attached voice message from the CMO. So I'm going to see, let me see if I can, how do I play that now? I wanted to actually play the voice notes because it seems like they went back to Ahmed and said, why would you call our name? Why did we ever do anything in regards to this or that? You know. But before jumping into that, what we understand from yesterday's call and what we were able to clarify afterwards in regards to one, audits and payouts. The internal audits at Aurum are apparently close to completion. As we understand it, completion of these audits is an essential prerequisite for all further activities relating to payouts of the various product deposits, profits, and coins. At the same time, the company is apparently working on having the temporarily frozen centralized exchange accounts at various exchanges released again. This is, of course, another fundamental requirement before the respective payouts can take place. At this stage, we can only hope that both matters are genuinely being handled with the highest priority and that once completed, payouts can begin immediately. Whatever structure or phase approach may ultimately be required. 2, recovery of customer funds. Andrew stated clearly and explicitly that all customer funds are intended to be recovered rather than only a portion of them. This is, first and foremost, an important and positive statement. What matters now, however, is how the recovery process will actually be structured and within what time frame it can realistically be implemented. Cooperation with TAG. I'll just jump that. Well, that's no more. So again, we wait for further details and most importantly, a reliable timeline. 4, Orbit 1. Okay, that's regards to tag, tag. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's a way I can play this and we can listen. Let's see if that's going to work.
Hey Tom, hey HP.
Put it to your speaker.
And so that's what I'm trying to do here, but my speaker is on the laptop and it's pretty small. Can you hear it?
Your headphone, the speaker on your headphone, go.
The speaker on my headphone. This is the speaker.
For the community to understand, we are not sitting
Can you hear me better?
behind.
Yes.
Okay, so let me start it again.
Tom, hey HP. No, what I wanted to deliver that all of us will be pushing for a solution. Any strategic partnership or any recovery solution, regardless what is the company, who is the company, and maybe this is one company and more to come. And me mentioning your names was simply for the community to understand. We are not sitting behind just watching. We are pushing the company very hard to find a solution. Yeah, but of course, absolutely have zero involvement in everything, especially the communication between companies. Even me, I didn't have that. I'm not into that level. Okay, so it was happening between companies. How they will do it, I don't know. Let's see how it will come in the coming few weeks. And as I said in the call, my responsibility toward the community now, I'll push the company as much as possible for all the transparency, this auditing report, for our family and friends, for our community, for our funds, of course. until we get to a place we understand fully what happened and what are the recovery, and most important, to start the recovery. Okay, in my opinion, regardless how it's gonna be slow, but at least we get to a point like we start to get paid on whatever, doesn't matter percentage, but this is could be very positive from the company side.
Right. So I guess you guys, I hope you got the explanation. If you don't, then maybe I can share it in the group afterwards. Then we can listen to it later on. But basically, he's saying that he called their names so that the community will realize that they as top leaders are not just sitting on their hours, that they are also trying to work things out with the company, and that his involvement, that he too wasn't giving as much information as people thought that he would have, and that now that he's working fully with the community, he's going to try to push the company as much as possible to make sure that everything happens timely. The beautiful thing about what I just heard is the fact that everybody is working towards a common goal, which is getting us started again. So this should not be a reason why, this should be the more reason why we should stay hopeful and positive. And I feel very embarrassed, very disappointed at so-called leaders who have jumped ship already and are telling their team members to come and join another business, saying that Aurum is 80% gone or 70% gone. It is so disgraceful. I would not call names. I wouldn't say anything now, but I tell you, when this company begins, some people will gonna have it hard. Are going to really have it hard, because gone are the times when you play with people's emotions. We have not gotten over the monies we have in Aurum. You are telling me to come and join another business because you want to lord over somebody or have commissions. I mean, don't make it make sense. Are you not a human? You don't have feelings. Don't you really have feelings? Not only that, members who willingly joined Aurum, maybe out of persuasion or out of listening to conviction or the integrity of people. And now, because it's 3 weeks now, you haven't received any payment, you are going on to arrest your upline. Was the gun put in your head in the first place? Did anybody tell you to go and borrow money to come and invest? I know, yes, when we see things happen, we want to make good, we want to take advantage of it, we want to do the best we can, we want to, yes. So take the responsibility, it's your responsibility. You cannot go and be arresting your upline, say the business don't crash, and so your upline should come and give you the money. Thank God you guys know that lawyer Taj is not just lawyer Taj. He's a lawyer. I'm a lawyer by profession. And we will go to any court to prove beyond reasonable doubt that you took that decision yourself without anybody putting a gun to your head. We are adults. It was clearly written, clearly stated right there that this is an investment. Invest what you can afford to lose. But then now, because of small thing, not be say the company don't close, and not going to arrest. I've written a letter to someone's lawyer in relation to this. A pastor was arrested in River State yesterday night because of this. Come on now. Is this going to make your money come back? Or the person that you're arresting, he did not invest. Didn't he have his money on there? Or should he go and arrest the person who now brought him? If you continue to do all these arrests, lawyer go shop money. uh You are just wasting time. You are just putting your priorities wrongly. If we believe in Aurum, then we should pray for Aurum. We should stay positive. We should remove our mindset from any them say, or any leaders. Yes, some top leaders will go crazy. Some will talk. Some out of anger will say some things. But don't take advantage of people at this time. We are not robots. We are human beings. I cannot even imagine myself or my team members or how many people joined Aurum in the last week before this problem happened, how they will be feeling, how many sleepless nights they will be having. How can I go and tell such a person that the business, I don't know what's happening, seems that wanting. It's better for you to come and join this one now. Which mouth, which conscience? May God help all of us. May God bless us. May God give this company the ability to come back. Because I swear, I will call names afterwards, and I don't even really care what they even think about me, really. Because it is not done. It's painful when you come to think of it. That people are still hoping and praying that their money is not lost, and then you're selling another business. I mean, how wicked are you to do that? How wicked are you as a leader? Well, God will answer us in the right time. So let me just jump into the questions that Tom and his team has brought up in order to send to corporate so that we can get the right answers. So let me just jump on there. Okay. Yeah, so all right. So some of the questions were basically in regards to the tag partnership. So I'm just gonna jump those in regards to the tag partnership because we've already dealt with that. Orbit one. And in regards to tag market, no. Tag market, no. Okay. One of the questions was in regards to compensation plan. Will the new back office operate under the same compensation plan that our community knows from Aurum and has been working with? Or is there a new or modified compensation plan? Please provide us with respective details. I believe we're going to stick with the same compensation plan that we had before. They talked about the 5 million due diligence on tag market, which was very worrying. Eight, next live update. When can we expect both of you to join us again for another Zoom call and provide further concrete updates? Now, number 9 is a joint Zoom call with leadership. This was what somebody was asking in the chat when I told him that we'll come to that. Finally, and most importantly, on behalf of the entire top leadership of our community, we would like to request a joint Zoom call with both of you in an open discussion format. Open discussion format. The purpose would be to address the points outlined above in greater detail and to give the key leaders the opportunity to ask their questions directly. We fully understand that an entire open call involving every member of the community will be difficult to manage effectively. However, we believe that the call involving the major leaders should be both practical and highly beneficial. The call could then be recorded, translated, and made available to the entire community, ensuring that everyone has access to the same information and that unnecessary misunderstandings can be avoided. We will greatly appreciate your feedback on the above points as soon as possible. So actually, if you take out those questions in regards to tag market, the questions they're asking are basically give us a time frame. Give us a time in regards to when operations are going to begin. Like I said at the beginning of the call, we are already at day 25. Day 25 is basically 3 weeks and 4 days. And so let us be true to ourselves and hold on for the next 2 weeks. We will make it 6 weeks. Yeah. So, guys, I always want to believe in anything I have my money in because I worked hard for it. We've been building this business for months, so we're not ready to throw it away just because of one hack or the other, just because of some misconceptions, or just because some people are carrying up news or showing that they feel bad in some type of way. Somebody sent a file on the chat. I hope that's a legitimate file. Bravo. Who's sharing Nnamdi? Oh, you see. Shameful. Please delete that stuff on there. That is someone who is trying to, please somebody delete that. Thank you. Please don't share that on the group anymore, please. Do not do that. Do not do that, please. All right, so Yo Wax, you have your hands on. Please, you just have like 2 minutes because we're already like an hour, 30 minutes already on this. So please, can you unmute yourself and say just a word?
Hello, hi. Thanks so much for your touch. And I did post my question there already. My question was just, I noticed that the exchange is no longer up. Is it part of the process they're going through? Because I was of the
Yeah.
opinion that, okay,
Yes. So
okay.
even those
I'll leave it at that.
products that
Thank
were
you.
not affected at all have to be stopped in order to have a full
Okay,
foundational, a robust understanding on what was affected and
all
what
right.
was not. Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you very
thank you, sir.
much.
Thank you.
All
All right, bye.
right. Yeah. And for me, that's still one of the great points. There's a lot of products that still were not affected, but they were just basically stopped for the company to be able to assess the entire situation. So Aurum still remains an ecosystem. It's not just all about the XAI bot or just the narrow bot. Those of us who have expanded or have diversified into other Aurum products can still well see that some of these products are still working. For example, the Zeus bot, for those who still have money in their cards, they are still able to use the card, so that should be something that we'll be happy about. And also, I'm sure the company very well knows that those are aces up their sleeves that they can play at any time. Okay, Yowax, thank you very much for that call. Is there anybody that want to say something? Perhaps the co-host, someone might have jumped by mistake, or the leaders. Edit Igbiama, no, the entire impression was not right. They had to freeze the entire accounts that were used to trade on the XCI bot when that happened. Yes, you have the recording at the end of the call. I'm going to upload it. You, okay. Same time, my people, nigga, I ain't scared of you. I have to get out of here. Right. Anybody have more questions? So, some people still don't understand the kind of person I am. Like I've always said, it's simple. I don't jump ship as easy. I don't even join a business easily. I take my time and whatever ship is sinking, I'm sinking with the ship until my eye clear. That's me. I can't change this. So if you feel that I'm too positive or I'm holding brief for the company, it's left for you. You can choose to stay negative or get off the Zoom or never join the Zoom. That's your business. But for that, why you? That guy that wrote that statement is never joining the Zoom anymore. Adai, somebody named Adai, can please, you have your hands up. So let me call you to say a few words before we call it a day. Yes, please unmute yourself. Adai.
Yeah, that's really great. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for these insights. It's a very rare opportunity. This is my first time coming on board, and I want to thank whoever connected me to this, because I'm an old man, and old man in the sense that I've traveled a very long journey with some of this online stuff. But this experience with you today has thrown plenty of light, and that I can still move on despite the curves and the bumps along the journey. That said, you know, I'm very pleased because you're open. We've had people who've spoken their minds, and you gave them the opportunity. In fact, when people have um, um, diverse opinion, it's not negativity. We must always, most leaders miss on this point. They don't like to unlearn to learn.
True.
Yes, they don't. They just think that when they speak in public, they are like what we call in the local lingua, sabitu.
Mm.
You know, when
Yes.
you speak in public, don't put a full stop, because at the end of the day, there were people before you where you are, and there will be people where you are after you must have gone. Put a comma, put a semicolon, so that somebody can either continue or correct what you said. Please, in fact, I'm thankful to you. I don't know you, but I'm reading from your body language. I'm reading from your behavioral traits that I just hope I stay put. I really thank my upline, Mr. Monday. That's my brother of another mother in Nigeria. I'm calling you from Cameroon, Yaoundé. The only concern I have with Aurum, they are precipitating information. You said it, but there's need to emphasize on that. There are some things we can, if I am building a house, I don't need to go to the public and say, look, I have already bought a piece of land. The public will see that piece of land. The next time, they will see a foundation. The other time, they will see pillars and how you're raising the work. You don't need to shout out there. Look at how demeaning it is for Aurum to go to tag. I will not tell you a lie. I have an account with tag. I'm in tag. But I decided to keep it as low ebb as I could, because I didn't see Aurum, in fact, standing behind tag. No, no. So I'm really happy that they made this backward turn, and I'm grateful to get that directly from this your Zoom. Let God continue to guide, protect you, and grant you plenty of grace. We need from Aurum, please, we need from Aurum success indicators. Let them leave the plenty of talking and talking and talking and hyping. Pedigree,